a day with Sheree. Today I'm going to be talking about Zoeys Extraordinary Playlist. Now, I've watched a lot of shows this week and I didn't do any videos, so I'm just gonna do them all at once. And I'm gonna be looking like this in every single video. So yeah, I have to do Zoeys Extraordinary Playlist. I have to do All American. Have to do, what else did I watch? WandaVision, and what else? I just started watching Winx, and I didn't even know that the originals, not the originals, but baby originals, Legacies is on. So now I have to watch that too. So I'm gonna probably just upload them all so I could like be on track and have my once a day and do it once a day, so that I'm not completely off entirely. I want to watch and then review like on time. So to make sure that it's on time, I'll probably just put this week's that I just passed did all at once instead of just waiting and doing it throughout the week. Or maybe I won't, I don't know. All I know is I have to do them all now. So I will. First, starting with Zoeys Extraordinary Playlist. Okay, so in this episode of Zoeys Extraordinary Playlist, Zoe wakes up with Max having a nightmare, and it's just her singing in the house and she can't get out of the house no matter what she tries to do. And apparently she's been having this dream for weeks and she hasn't been getting nearly any sleep. She's not really talking to Max about it since this is the first time that Max is even hearing of it. So then she goes to work and, Max actually suggests that maybe it's time for her to move back into her actual apartment and not stay with her mom. But she's really worried about her mom and her mom being alone in that big house. And that's completely and entirely understandable why she wouldn't want to leave her mom alone. I mean, that's a really big house to just be in by yourself. I mean, there's no reason for her to have a house that big unless she just wants to keep it in the family. I would completely understand if she wanted to maybe move and get something a lot smaller, since her kids are grown up. They have their own places, they have their own lives. So it is completely and entirely possible that in the future she might actually get a smaller place. I think it would probably make more sense for her to get a smaller place as well. So she's thinking of possibly broaching the subject with her mom of maybe moving back to her old place. But then her mom sings this sad song about going to work for the first time without her dad. I think she had a project before her dad too last season without her dad, without Mitch last season. So Zoe does end up talking to Simon about it. She can actually like speak to him and talk to him regarding the situation. I mean, Simon's been through the same thing, so he kind of understands, tells her that, you know, it's normal, that he has had the nightmares before as well, and that he just had to wait for them to pass. So Zoe's kind of been building up at this time because she hasn't been getting any sleep, so she's getting more and more testy as the time goes by. She even ends up going off on everyone about she starts to delegate, which is something that Simon says, hey, you can delegate all the stuff that you have to do to other people. You're the boss now. So then she starts to delegate things. And one of the guys, I forgot the name, but one of the guys on the team ends up getting a really sexist shirt. And they are playing baseball inside for some reason and end up throwing a ball through Zoe's window of her office, glass wall of her office. And then she goes out there and yells at them because honestly they deserve it. They're just being childish. Like, oh my God, I would just be so annoyed even with that on top of the grief that you're dealing with and not getting sleep. That is just too much. It's too crazy. So she ends up going off on them, and then they sing a song about basically being mad at her, and she feels guilty, but I wouldn't feel guilty. They were literally playing baseball or softball or whatever in the office and threw a ball through your glass wall. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be making them friendship bracelets, which is what she ended up doing because she couldn't sleep. I wouldn't do any of that. I'd be like, yeah, and get over it. So Zoe also finds out that Simon told Max that they're together. One of the things that was on Zoe's list of things to do was like to tell Simon that, you know, she's been hanging out with Max. She doesn't really say that they're together. And then Simon's like, well, Max told me that you guys are together. And she's like, oh, okay, all right. So then later that night when Max is trying to make Zoe's dinner, she's completely and entirely zoning out. And he's like, hey, are you listening to me? Talking about Mo and how they're trying to get their restaurant situation that's not a restaurant, because Mo said that they don't need a kitchen because they're not going to be cooking anything. So I don't know what the place is going to be. Are they just going to have a bunch of food from other places? They're going to... I really don't understand their concept. Like, I'm even more confused now on what Mo and Max are doing and why Mo and Max are doing it than I ever was before with this episode. Like, I'm so confused. Is anybody else confused? Oh, so Max is making her dinner, and then she brings up the fact that, you know, she hasn't been able to sleep, and Simon says, hey, and that Simon said it's normal. And he's like, Simon says it's normal? Okay. But then he says, you know, it's fine. And like, she's like, I mean, I know that you talked to Simon, and he automatically is like, oh, you mean that I told him that we're together? I mean, we're friends, but I mean, if y'all are friends, then you should be fine because they're friends. So he's a little jealous, but he's like, oh no, it's fine, it's okay. And then we see Zoe's face and what she looks like when she is hearing a heart song, but we're not inside the heart song. And that is so cool that they decided to do that, to show what she looks like. But I also, at the same time, I want to know what song he sang, because she didn't say it. And I'm kind of mad she didn't tell Mo or somebody. Well, I guess Mo and Max are the only people who know. But I wish she would have talked to Mo about it, so we could have known what song he sung. Because I really want to know what song or what number he did about being super jealous. I wonder if it was Nick Jonas Jealous, because that would make sense. And I would have loved to have seen that. They could have done like a flash of both, of seeing her and knowing what song. But it was still kind of funny. And especially the way that he like was like, hey, what are you doing? Did you just hear a heart song? And then he like expresses how like completely and entirely unfair it is that she always gets to know what he's feeling and not what she's feeling. And I thought it was unfair that she didn't tell him what kind of song he was singing. Like, you won't tell him anything else. You might as well tell him what song that he's singing to you. Maggie has a landscaping job. She was being safe. The guy's like, hey, go all out. Do all that you need to do. I kind of got flirt vibes from the guy, but at the same time, her husband, like, literally, like, just died. Like, it was like, just died. So we don't need to touch that at all. We don't need to go anywhere near that. Like, not even a little bit. Like, not even. Like, it would be different if the show started like 6 months later, but even a year later, but not like, it's been like what, 6 weeks, what, a month or two? It has not possibly been long enough for her to even imagine being with or seeing with or flirting with anyone else. So yeah, I don't need that. We don't need that. Maggie ends up getting help from Emily's sister. Emily's sister is still being super annoying. It was actually a funny scene with Emily and Zoe's brother. I forgot his name for some reason. And they're in the baby room. They just got the baby to sleep and they're so tired. And the sister comes in and is just talking. And he's just like, why are you being so loud in my baby's baby room? Like, you better not wake up this baby or I will literally kill you. I mean that in the nicest way. So that was funny. And she's gonna make them a collage for their baby room or whatever. So she also helps Maggie and ends up being the person who's gonna actually help Maggie with her landscaping situation. She's actually gonna stay on longer, which they're actually kind of sad about. But they're gonna stay on. She's gonna stay, and she sang a song to Zoe about wanting to help because Zoe really wasn't a good help regarding the situation. So that's something new, and I'm glad that Maggie will have somebody fun, somebody around her to kind of get her out of her head and help her, and so that she won't be alone. You know, I don't want her to be by herself. You know, I know that Zoe's there, and that her son, why can't I remember the son's name? I could not remember for some reason. But her son and son's wife and her grandson, it's a boy, right? I believe it's a boy. They're all in the house all the time. So that's nice too. But she ends up having a really good idea, and her client ends up really liking it. So I felt good about that. Then cut back to Max and Zoe, and I was just thinking, like, right before she said, I was like, you know, maybe you just need time to grieve. And, you know, you could at least tell him, hey, you know, I'm not ready. You know, I'm not ready. I'm still in grieving mode. I'm unhappy. I'm sad. Let me get this together. Because he says, you know, this is being really unfair to me. And she like stands up and is like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry that it's making you feel bad. It's just that. And he's just like, it's just what? It's just what? Like, what is it? And he just wants to know. He just wants her to confide in him and tell him. And that's something I don't understand. If he is your best friend, like if he's your best friend, like why aren't you telling him how you feel? Like if y'all weren't in a relationship, if y'all weren't together, would she tell him how she feels? Because she's been telling Simon, and I get it. He understands what she's going through. But at the same time, like, if that's your best friend, wouldn't you tell them how you feel? Regardless of being in a relationship or not being in a relationship, wouldn't you share how you're feeling? Because I'm sure it makes him feel bad as y'all are in a relationship and you're not telling him how you feel. But at the same time, I would feel bad as a friend. Like, am I not really your best friend? Are we not friends? Why can't you tell me how you feel? Like, why can't you open up to me? You know? So I felt really bad for him. And then when Say Something started playing, I was just like, oh, that was, whew. I think I'm pretty sure I teared up. I was like, oh no, poor baby. Poor baby. Say something. I'm giving up on you. Like, it was perfect. It was a perfect song. It was the perfect song. It's like they made that song back in what, 2014, 2015, just so they can eventually sing that song in this TV show. I can't remember when that song came out, but yes, it was absolutely perfect for the situation. And then they decide to call it quits or to take a break until she's ready to be in a relationship. And I hope while they're taking a break, she doesn't connect with Simon and they form some bond, or he ends up dating somebody else and they get serious and she's too late and then she starts talking to Simon. I'm gonna be really annoyed if that is the cycle that this takes. Like, I'm gonna be so annoyed. I understand people say like, oh, they got together too fast, so now they're gonna break up, blah blah blah. I hope it's just not a bunch of weaving through this and that and him and her and all this other stuff to finally eventually on the last season get together. I hope that's not the situation that we're walking into. I really hope so, because I'm gonna be so upset. Anyway, I wish they would have had at least one last kiss and it would have been fine. I really do wish that. That's how I feel. It was another good episode. It was great. Loved it. Well, I mean, it frustrated me, made me mad, made me sad. And she's still having her nightmares. She has a nightmare when she's in an apartment. I was hoping that it wasn't Max that she felt like was closing in on her, and maybe that she felt claustrophobic from Max, that he was smothering her or something like that. But it wasn't. She said several times that it wasn't. So that makes me feel better that it wasn't him, it was her. And I completely understand that. Going through grief, going through depression, being sad and all that, you know, you're no good to anybody. So that's completely, entirely understandable. But it was a great episode. Loved it. Can't wait for the next episode. And thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay sane.